Hello everyone, welcome to this presentation of the version 13.4, especially on the purchase and inventory modules. Some novelties here that we will discuss about in this video. The first thing will be about purchasing usability. You will see some visual changes that will enable to have more control on the purchasing process and avoiding to miss items once you need it for your production line. The second thing will be really a major change with a new replenishment method that you can use from reordering rules. We will have semi-automated reordering rules that will completely increase the flexibility that we have on the replenishment process. Then we have the manual actions in the barcode, which will be nice also to make sure that the user can do everything he wants from the barcode application when he is like an operator in the warehouse. He doesn't need to go back into the inventory application for some things, then go back to barcode for other things. He can stay in the barcode application and make everything he wants. And finally, we will have some various improvements that we will talk about and make some demonstration in the end. So the first point is really about the purchasing usability. We'll see that there will be some changes in the list view that will be very visual. The introduction of the purchasing KPIs that will also increase the information that we have on the purchasing process. And then we will see some other feature. So if I go to my database, which is 13.4 runbot, now, what we really want to show is the difference between the version 13 and the 13.4 in the request for quotation list view. So this is the main changes here related to the purchase application. If we go to the list view directly, we can see that there has been some changes, which are not only in this model, but in many models and views on Odoo. First, we have a picture here of the purchase representative, which makes it more user-friendly. Similarly, the status will be in color, so the difference between an RFQ and a PO is much clearer than before, which is a nice feature. And importantly, we have here something that shows when the RFQ should be confirmed into a purchase order, which is probably the main change. So rather than having the confirmation date, we have here the order deadline and the remaining days widgets. We see how much time we still have to confirm or not an RFQ into a purchase order. So if I make a filter on RFQs, here I can see really what's going on there, what's on time, what's not. So I can see that there were in red some RFQ that should have been transformed into a PO yesterday, but we're not. So for example, if I click on this one, I do edit and I say, look, it was I should have done that yesterday, but maybe the supplier will tell me what about today, and I will switch the date, the order deadline from yesterday to today, validate, save. And so now what I will see is that for this PO4, it becomes as of today. It's the order deadline becomes today, and we have full control on when we have to turn the RFQ into a PO. This is important because, as you know, in a supply chain, especially if lead times are not too long, it's really important to have all your items ready for production, because sometimes missing one item can block the production, can idle the production, and so it's important to have everything. This will increase your control on what's in your inventory and what should arrive soon in the inventory, to make sure that you know at any point of time which RFQ need to be validated rather soon. In some statistics about the RFQs here, this is also new here in version 13.4. First, you have all the RFQs that still need to be sent. So you can see here the one that have been sent, only two in the one that have been sent. One is still waiting for a reply, and one is late. Okay, so they are both waiting for reply, but one is late. So for example, the one that is late, it was for yesterday, it has been sent. If I just click on it and confirm the order, if I go back there, I can see that it just disappears because it's not late anymore. The one waiting, it's still there. If I take one that is for tomorrow, I just send it by mail. I send it, fine, and I can see now that I have two waitings that are not. So this is the one that need to be sent. This is the one that have been sent, but that's still waiting for an answer. And that is the ones that have been sent, but that are late for answers. So they should have been. These are RFQs that should have been turned into PO before today. Okay. Next KPIs that we have here. This is new KPIs introduced in Odoo for this version. Actually, well, this is just related to purchase orders, which is a bit maybe a bit surprising. It's KPIs when we make RFQs, because if I go to the purchase orders menu, I don't have those KPIs. I have those KPIs only for the RFQ view, and but these are related to the purchase order, not to the RFQ. And we have just the average order value, the amount that has been purchased within the 7 last days, the RFQs that have been sent over the last 7 days, and the average days to purchase. So this is some statistics about the purchasing process, which gives you an idea of what is the usual value. So one thing important is that it will not change with the filters. So if I just filter back like RFQs, you see some filters appear, but those things do not change. They are really always there, which makes sense also because this is related to purchase orders and this is RFQ. So if we change the filters on RFQs, it has no impact on the purchase orders. Okay, then if I go back to my small presentation, we have those 2 points that were covered by the first discussions that we just have. Here we have 2 new features with the delivery date confirmation and the vendor delivery reliability, which is quite nice actually. So what is this? Let's imagine we create an RFQ. We create this request for quotation, for example, for Azure Interior. We have the order deadline. Let's put a product for sake of reality. And okay, so now one difference is that the receipt date is now here on the main tab, and the company is here on the other information tab. This was switched in the previous version. And what's really new is that we can ask for a confirmation for by the supplier. So as I said before, it's really important to have always a full control on your purchasing process. If you will miss one item, it can be a big issue. So it's better to know exactly what's going on. So for example, sometimes if you have ordered something some time ago, you can ask here a few days ago to send a reminder to the supplier to make sure that he or she will provide you with the right product at the right time as expected. Okay, so there is a receipt date that you define here, and you say any day, for example, here 3 days before this receipt date, I want to send an automatic mail to my supplier to make sure that he or she will deliver the good at the receipt date as expected. If I confirm this order, of course, I will not simulate that, but what I can do is also making it manually. So if I send the reminder manually, then the mail will be sent to the supplier, and the supplier is now able to reply to this. And once we have the confirmation that it's fine, we can confirm here the receipt date. Okay, this is quite a great feature to be sure to have everything on time and to increase the reliability of the purchasing process. Then, yeah, because it disappears when we confirm the reception day. So here we see it again. This is non-time delivery rate, which is related to the vendor, which is also nice when you create your RFQ. If you have the option to decide between different vendors, you can purchase, for example, one product from 3 vendors, and you don't know exactly which one to choose. If the delivery rate is a criterion for this specific order, you have this information, and if you switch, you can have different values there and see which vendors really are reliable. This will prevent you from choosing an unreliable supplier. I think when we have few suppliers, few RFQs, few purchase orders, all this is quite intuitive. You know who is reliable, who's not reliable. But just imagine if you have plenty of RFQs, it will be interesting to have those dashboards, those KPIs to know a bit what's going on in your purchasing process. It will be also interesting to see which RFQs you should confirm by today or by tomorrow, which one are late. And this is also the same thing for the vendors. If you have plenty of RFQs, sometimes maybe you don't really realize what percentage of the time one vendor is late, and so this will really bring you some additional information that will improve the decision making of the purchasing process. Okay, so another nice feature that we have now is about the replenishment from the reordering rules. So I think we all know what are the reordering rules. We use these very often, but we have something really new here in Odoo. The idea is that before this improvement, reordering rule was just like automatic. Either you decide to apply reordering rules, either you decide not to apply reordering rules. And this was, maybe there was kind of a lack of flexibility that could hurt sometimes some customers. No, we have really, I mean, we, not me, but the POs have really improved this by making great improvements in terms of reordering rules. I show you a bit what I mean by there. If you go to here, inventory configuration, reordering rules, you just have reordering rules as before. I've made here a product which is inventory test. If I click on it, we can just see that there is an automated reordering rules 11.22. So now what is new is the preferred route and the trigger. Preferred route is, okay, how do you want to purchase this? You can decide which route you prefer. Here let's imagine that it's just a buy route. And importantly, here we have a trigger. We want to know whether this reordering rule is either automated or manual. So I can switch it from automated to manual. If it's automated, it means, as before, as soon as we get below this minimum threshold quantity, it will reorder units to reach this maximum threshold quantity. But as long as you are in the limits, it will not appear. If I move it to manual and I save it, so logically, if I go back there, it should disappear. Okay, it disappears because here there is a filter on the manual reordering rules, but on the automated reordering rules. But we can go here to replenishment. This is the new report, the new menu, and in there we will find back then the inventory test, and we will find all the manual reordering rules, what it is. In those manual reordering rules, we will find two types of products. First, the products that have a negative quantity forecasted. Namely, what the system says is, I see that you have some products with negative quantities forecasted, so I suggest you to reorder. This is a suggestion. I suggest you to reorder the amount to get to 0. That's the first type of reordering rules that we have here, the manual reordering rules. Other type of manual reordering rules are the ones that have really manual reordering rules created. So as we did before, I can create here for any product a manual reordering rule, for example, by, and we say there is a minimum quantity, maximum quantity. We can remove that. Okay, so if I select this, this was just an example, I just delete it. Okay, but here we have one manual reordering rules, which works as any other reordering rule, but it will not actually be triggered automatically, because we have here, as we just shown before, we have a trigger here which is manual. This is why they are manual reordering rules, and actually they will be triggered only manually. So the system will never order automatically, generate automatically RFQs based on manual reordering rules, but it brings all those manual reordering rules here with a cool tab where we can decide to reorder what we want. What the system sees here is that, okay, you have zero quantity on hand, zero quantity forecasted for this inventory test product. This is a manual reordering rules 11.22. So as you are below the limit, you should order so that you get to the maximum quantity. It says you should order 2. Okay. What's really interesting is that you can, for example, decide to order 2. It suggests 22, but you can order simply 2. So I click here on 2 and I order. Then what it says, okay, now you have 2 units forecasted, but you still have 22 order if you want to reach a maximum quantity. So the system keeps telling you what you might be, what you might want to do, which is really great. And as soon as you will, for example, here I got 2. If I want to move up there, let's imagine I order 10, and I do. Okay, it disappears because for the moment, for this manual reordering rules, there is nothing to do because we are above the minimum quantity. Okay, if you do order, this is what I just did, it orders once. If you do order always, in that case, it will actually turn the manual reordering rules into an automated reordering rules, because the manual benefit is really to be able to choose when you want to apply this reordering rules and when you want not to apply it. So if you want to apply it always, then it will simply become an automated reordering rule. So if I take, for example, I will do it after, but I will show that after. Snooze is really if you just don't want to see something. Okay, and you say for how much time you want to snooze it, let's say 1 day. The idea is that when you have plenty of things to order, you want to know whether everything is done, whether everything is clean, and you can just remove one line from your plate so that it's clear that you don't have to do that. It's just, it will come back tomorrow, but for today you don't have to think about that. You just clean the dashboard and know what's remaining there is the only things you need to focus on. Other things that are interesting here as features is the vendor. This is when you have vendor price list. I don't see here there are any. So for example, let's take the table leg. If we go to purchase, we have wood corner in the vendor price list. If I add somebody else, let's say Azure Interior 1, I save it. If I go to the replenishment with the vendor, I cannot choose any vendor, but I have the choice between the vendors defined in the vendor price list. There also, it gives you some flexibility. An automated reordering rules would always take from the same as long as it meets criteria. Here, you can decide which one you want to take. I think something also which is great is the preferred route, because by default a reordering rule will, for example, buy from the buy route, but you can decide also. Here I have, if I show that, I have created 2 warehouses, and in my warehouses, I have San Francisco and San Francisco Distribution Center. Let's imagine San Francisco is a shop, for example. I mean, and you can resupply for desktop from the distribution center. And so what it means here is that you can decide when you buy storage box whether you want to buy what is suggested by the system, what you want to buy. Do you want to buy it with a buy route, I mean, as usual from your suppliers, or do you want to reorder from your distribution center? So for example, if you have items in the distribution center, you might want to prefer this. If you want to buy from your suppliers, you can do this. So what we can see here is that we have really a big gain in flexibility. So this feature is probably a big improvement, probably the main improvement of this version. And last thing I want to show you is that the trigger is manual for this reordering rule, but as soon as I do order always, it should disappear. And if I go to the reordering rule model here, I will find it because it just changes the auto trigger from manual. So the big gain is that manual brings you much more flexibility. You can change a vendor, you can change the route, you can change the amount you want to order. You can really first have a great visibility and second have a huge flexibility on that. Last thing I show you when you are on this page, this is stock warehouse reordering point, stock warehouse order point, sorry, this is there. If you go there, replenishment, this is exactly the same model, it's just different filters that are set up. This was really a nice novelty. The next thing I want to discuss, if I go back to my view, so we discussed the purchasing usability, the replenishment from reordering rules. Now we get into the manual actions with barcode. It will be a bit faster. The idea is that what the POs try to do is as much as possible to align what's possible to be done in the barcode application and in the inventory application. What would be really uncomfortable for an operator in the warehouse is really to have to switch all the time between Odoo, the Odoo system inventory application, for example, and the barcode application. So basically what we want to show is that we can do many things in the barcode application itself. Of course, here I will not show things related to the barcode itself, because the novelty is that we can do things that we could do only with barcode. Now we can do this with the application. So the main difference is if you want to create something. So if you take one for one specific warehouse, one specific operation type, for example, for receipt, you have items to receive. If I take this item, for example, this is really easy. +1 there, it adds the product that was expected to receive. I just validate, and this is done manually. This is not so much new. I think this is something we could do in the previous versions, maybe a bit differently. But what's really interesting is more when you get into the operations, for example, internal transfers. If you have, you need to move something, you need to move one product that is not working with barcode, you can, now you have a button create. So you can create new actions without barcode, without using the barcode, but with the barcode application. The big gain is that if you have products that work with barcode, products that work without barcode, you do not have to switch every time from inventory application to barcode application. For example, if you want to make an internal transfer, here I can make directly the internal transfer. I choose my product. I took one, for example, product without barcode, and I just say, okay, take one that is in stock and bring it to stock shelf 1. I confirm, I validate, and this is done. So now, no need to switch from one application to the other. The operator, who is in the warehouse, is really has an easier process and can do everything for the barcode application. So this results in a gain of time, especially when you have plenty of products to receive, to transfer, then to deliver. And some products work with barcodes, some products work without barcodes. This will be really an easier process thanks to this. Okay, so now the last thing we want to show is about the various improvements that are like more maybe secondary improvements or improvements that are less major. We have four things. First, some changes in the alignment of the purchasing and sales application for credit notes and joint bills. I will show an example on that. Then more explicit serial numbers error message. Some things will be generated automatically by Odoo, while before they were generated by the person connected, the user connected, and finally some implication on the product archive. So let's go back to the database. So now, yeah, I want to create a product. This will be related more to the purchase application. Let's make the whole process together. I create a product. For example, GME test product. This is a product that can be sold and can be purchased. This is a storable product. Let's imagine the sales price is 10 and the cost is 3. And what I want to say is that it's ordered quantities. Let's keep it in ordered quantities. Purchase, I want to put, let's do, for example, Azure. No, let's change a bit. Be a company, Sarah. We make it at 5 and I put 3 there. It's not important. And we take it as a by route. Okay. So the first thing we want to show here is when we create an RFQ. I will create just an RFQ for I will purchase that from the company, and this is my product. Okay, the unit price is 5, but it doesn't matter. I confirm the order. Then I will save that and duplicate this RFQ, confirm the order too. So we have now in the purchasing orders model, we have 2 different ones. What we could not do before and we can do now, if I select the 2 together, I can do create vendor bills. This is I take. Yeah, I didn't put probably the right here. Yeah, okay. Another quantity so that they are so. So let me do it back again. Sorry for that. If I do this, I will duplicate it once, then duplicate it a second time. And so before, when you did that, you could not create a joint bill for this, but now if you create bill, the system sees directly that those 2 orders are linked to the same vendor, those 2 RFQ are linked to the same vendor, the PO, and it enables to make a bill for the 2 of these together, which is something we could already do in the sales application, and now we can do the same in the PO application. The objective is really to align the those 2 applications which are like similar. Let's validate this. Something else I create for this same product. For example, for it doesn't matter, B company, I want this product which was GME. This product, I want 10 units. What I want to show you here is that when you are on the sales application, when you do a credit note, it will automatically detect that a credit note could be there and generate it, suggest it when you create a new invoice. Here in the billing process, this would be the same. So let's imagine we purchased 10 units of GME test product. We confirm this order. Then I will say, okay, I have received those 10 products. I validate the reception, okay, of the 10 products. And Then I will generate the bill. I receive the bill from the vendor for these 10 items. This is fine so far. However, if I go to my receipt, actually, I have noticed that among the 10 units, there were 4 that were like problematic. They were not like correct. There was a quality control that did not succeeded, and so I want to return those 4 units, and I then validate this return. So this means if I go back to my PO that I have ordered 10 units, I have received 6 because I returned 4, and I've been billed for 10. This means I have been billed for 4 units too much. So if I do create a bill from the purchase order, okay, so if I create the bill, it doesn't want because I have set that on, okay, it's not on received quantity. So, okay, let's change that. GME test product, we'll do it again, purchase edit. If I select unreceived quantities, now it should work. So I do it again. I create a purchase order for 10 units of GME product, a quantity of 10. I confirm this order. I say that I received the product. So far it's fine. In parallel, I will create a bill because I'm invoiced from my vendor, so I need to validate this bill received. However, if I go on my receipt, there was a quality issue, so in the 10 units, I will just return 4 of them. I return these, and once these are returned, I need to validate the return. Then the here, if I have 10 units that have been bought, 6 received, 10 billed. So if I create a bill, what we can see is that it generates automatically a vendor credit note with 4 units, and it directly makes the link between what has been already built and what should have been built. This is also something that we that enables to align better the purchase application and the sales application, so that there is really common logic. So then we go back to the other element. More explicit serial number error message. This is also nice. This is if you have if you want to load plenty of serial numbers at some point, and only one does not work. Now it will say which serial number is problematic, rather than before saying like just you cannot have duplicates in serial numbers. So it will be much easier for you to find which serial numbers is the problem. Third point, RFQs automatically generated by RFQ. So far, when you had an automatic RFQ, for example, for an NTO process or reordering rule, the purchase representative was the user connected, but now it's output. So it's the it makes it more generic and more clear, I think, on who really made the action. And finally, archiving product implications. So this is maybe the last thing I want to show you. So if I take this product, GME's product, what's going on if we archive this product? It says change a bit in this new version. So here we have 12 units on hand and 16 units forecasted. Let's create a reordering rule, so a classical one, which would be auto. Let's imagine, for example, 10, 20, another. I save that. If I go on GME's product, what if I archive this product? Because there are units in stock, there is a reordering rule, and it's evaluated in the stock because there is some cost here. So let's select the product, I archive it, I do OK, and now I can see that this is still there. So it doesn't remove the quantities, which is new. Before it would have set that to 0. In the reordering rules, it's automatically removed. It's unactivated, which was not the case before. And if I go to inventory and inventory valuation, I would have my GME test product there, which would be still present here. It will not be removed because of the product being archived, which is logical because if it's in the stock, it still has a value, so it should still appear there. But no, if I go back to my product GME, I can see that there is it's archived. There is no reordering rules activated, which is logical because it's archived, but the units, if they were in stock, they are still in stock. So this is a small change of behavior of Odoo. This is why I wanted to mention you that. So before leaving you, just to remind, we had main improvements here. Three ones. One of the purchasing usability related to the RFQs, new KPIs, new list view, new possibility to confirm a reception upfront by the supplier to make sure that the purchasing process is still under control. The major change of this release is really the replenishment from reordering rules that can now be semi-automated, so it's not no reordering rules or fully automated reordering rules. We have some suggested reordering rules that can enable much more flexibility. And finally, we have also some manual actions possible in the barcode that will enable the operator to stick into a single application and gain much time. And there were some improvements that will ease the process. So thank you for the attention, and good luck with this new version.